Turn the music
He
up.
got to turn his music up.
Yeah.
I can't hear nothing.
Told me to turn it down.
No, I didn't turn it down. I said I couldn't hear it.
Oh, you hear it now, right?
Now, can you send this to us? Is this recorded? Can we get? I see it live, but can you send this to us?
What do you mean send it?
How does his music
Like
sound
send
when he's
it.
in?
Sound like you gotta turn it up a little bit.
For the kid, 'cause they know how we
Yeah.
live.
Hold on, let me see. That's what I want to do too. Hold on, let me see something.
Yo, I'm sweeter than Skittles.
That sounds great, right?
Because I can hear that. I couldn't hear that first.
You can hear it now, though, right?
You can't hear it?
Yeah, that sounds better. I couldn't hear.
Yeah. I just it wasn't all the way up though. That's why.
Yeah, I can hear it. That's better.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me see something.
Okay.
Hold on. I want to see if y'all can hear my music on my end. Because if somebody wanted me to play their song, I want to see if y'all can hear it.
Is the Joan on Spotify? They got this Joan on Spotify? Because I can pull it up on it.
And bro said, some people got Spotify, YouTube.
I mean, I can pull it up on if you,
you may.
I can pull it up on YouTube. I can pull it up on Spotify. That ain't no problem. I just need to know what you know what I'm saying? What the track is.
Can y'all hear that?
Yes.
Does it sound muffled?
No, it sounds fine.
Okay. Because yours sounds good. I mean, yours sounds good. So I just want to make sure that mine sounds almost the same. But if I gotta tell them to go to you, now listen, bros. If I'll text you. Well, I can't text you from here. God dang it. I'll let you know in the joint where to find the music. Okay.
All right. So what are you playing right now?
Nothing. That's just rendering. I gotta take it off. That was rendering. I'm taking it off.
Oh.
I just wanted to see if it uploaded on Whistling, but just in case if mine's rendering and it can't play, I'll tell you to find it on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Like if it's like taking forever.
Yeah.
So I had to turn one of my Wi-Fi joints off. Y'all ready to go though?
Yeah.
And hopefully it don't render on my end.
I mean,
I had to turn one of my joints off.
We here already, bro. So
Jesus, come on, man.
welcome back to another episode of PodcastHead. Man, this one gonna be a little short today. You know what I'm saying? We trying to
PodcastHead. Bang, bang, bang.
Yes, sir. Everybody could be in the same location at the same time today. So we doing this for the first time remotely. So hopefully everybody can hear everything. We can get the sound where it needs to be. All right, so we're gonna jump right into this. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna start off with some current news. First topic that we're gonna cover is President Joe Biden issues a marijuana pardon. Okay. So on this story right here, we got President Joe Biden announced on Thursday that he's pardoning individuals charged with simple marijuana possession on a federal level. But his decision does not affect broad groups of Americans and non-citizens charged with crime. So what's critical in this particular situation is for everyone to understand that this is only on a federal level, right? So, and this is one of the things that I hate about the justice system is that a lot of laws are so divided, right? So like he's enforcing things on one level, but where it also should be enforced, and he's calling upon statesmen to do this, but to enforce it at a state level. You know what I'm saying?
They're not.
So
they're
right.
not.
I mean, we hope
but go ahead. I'm listening. I'm listening.
But yeah.
But they're not.
I'm with you. You know, and that's why it's like, I mean, it's a step in the right direction. You know what I'm saying? Because he spoke on like how they currently and in the past they've held marijuana up to the same standards as like fentanyl and some of these other higher more detrimental drugs that people take when it's not. You know what I'm saying? Um, and he's on record stating that no one should be in jail for just using or possessing marijuana. And you know, I mean, this goes back to, man. I mean, you look at just the drug trade in general, right? Like how many people are have been incarcerated for marijuana, and it's just ridiculous, man. Like, I mean, what are your thoughts on it, Jay?
I mean, it is ridiculous, but at the and at the same time, he's calling on state governors to follow suit. But I mean, at the same time, Republican Party and the Democratic Party, they're not going to give in to what he wants them to do. I mean, that's obviously. I mean, that's been proven. So
Right,
anything he says for them to do, they're not going to do. Even if they think they know it's right, they're still not going to do it. So
right,
and I mean, he can call it for the federal level all he want, but when it comes to the states, they can do what they want.
yeah, man.
It's
That
unfortunate. I mean, but that's what a lot. I mean, when we look at the justice system, I mean, it's not just. I mean, that's we already know that. I mean, if you earn a certain income, I mean, you can pretty much, I mean,
do what you want to do.
get off a lot of charges. Yeah, so it's like
Yeah,
we already know what type of system we live in. That's why it's kind of and I know I'm trying to speak lightly of this because I am in the criminal justice field, but um, even though I mean, you try to make changes and you try to, do what you can to help, each person. I mean, even if you help one, you help, enough. You did enough, but it's
right,
tough, man. It's really tough because I mean, I could give you a story of I ran across people that had not. I mean, we not just talking about marijuana charges. We talking about just little things as just I mean, the three strike rule, or they just committed too many charges, whatever it may be, got arrested too many times,
yeah,
whatever it may be. But not saying that they can't be held accountable. But the amount of time that they are getting, that's the thing, the amount of time they're given. Because for real, believe it or not, I mean, well, we all know the justice system is a money maker, money making machine. I mean, you got people don't realize how much a lot of these guys are fueling the economy. I can tell you for one, I remember when I was speaking to a lot of different schools, I was telling
hmm
them how high schools when they got like criminal justice programs and stuff, and I would tell them, the milk that you drinking at school was made by inmates, and neighbors like, what? The desk or chairs you sit on were made by inmates, and we already
right,
know the license plates are made by inmates, right? But
right,
a lot of people don't know how much of a business it really is. Um, and these inmates be getting paid. I mean, they need jobs when they get, but they getting paid 20 cents an hour and 19 cents an hour. So you can only imagine what that equals up to. But
yeah,
that's the thing, man. I think people don't realize how much this still a business. So even though we talk about these guys with these marijuana charges, it's just ridiculous because that's just the way it's been. But
yeah,
that's just
man.
my
And I think too, like this particular let's see, this particular thing, I wanted to read this too because, like, as much as it is the business, and everything, circles back around the race, man. You know what I'm saying? It's like you said, whoever has the money and the power to kind of get out of certain situations, and you know the complexion for the protection. You know what I mean? Um, and this is something else that Biden said that speaks to that. He said it's legal in many states, and criminal records for marijuana possession have led to needless barriers to employment, housing, and educational opportunities. He continued, and that's before you address the racial disparities around who suffers the consequences. While white and black and brown people use marijuana at similar rates, black and brown people are arrested, prosecuted, and convicted at disproportionate rates. You know what I'm saying? So um, it's a continued thing, man, that we gotta uh, fight, and it sucks, man. Um, that to this day that we still are dealing with this type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Um, And I
I
got
mean,
more on that too,
if
man.
you
And
really,
you
you
know,
really think,
yeah, go ahead. Go
I
ahead,
don't,
Solo.
I think it's a lag, but I was gonna say, I think there's a mixed communication of confusion. You know what I'm saying? Like where we were programmed, as a youth, especially like 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, early 2000s, that marijuana is a bad drug. You know what I mean? To where now we're trying to allow people to say, okay, it's okay to use it.
Hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So it's like trying to reprogram people's mindset to be like, okay, it's no longer bad. It's you know what I'm saying? Where people, and this is the sad thing. This is how I look at it too. You got some people right now that's serving 20, 30, 40, 50 years right now for something that they finalized and say that, okay, it's okay to smoke it now. And you know what I'm saying? So what happens to the people that's in jail that's been served on marijuana charges, right? That got 20, 30 plus years that will never get out and be like, well, dang, you know what I'm saying? Like now y'all making it legal to where you can sell it. And I'm stuck in here, you know what I mean, based on a charge where y'all basically said it was wrong. You see what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
And now it's almost like a oxymoron type of, it's like a what is it? Like a, what's the word where you look, it's like a contradictory. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I think that's where you got some people are like, I still agree with some people, like they still agree with, the marijuana should be illegal. And then you got some believe that marijuana shouldn't be illegal. You know what I mean? Um, it's kind of tough. You know what I'm saying?
This
It's one
is
of them tough
this is
things.
where this
That,
is where I would see it. This is my honest opinion. The thing about it is we still got to be smarter. I mean, you still got to be smart as an individual that's going to smoke marijuana. There's no, I don't care if they say,
mm-hmm.
yeah, they say, okay, this amount is legal. But we all know they're going to go, they're not going to just get that only that amount, right? That's just like
Right.
if you just say, okay, you only gonna have a pint of alcohol or whatever. We all know we're gonna get more. But I would say, be smart about it. Like, don't be walking out in public because that you feel what I'm saying, especially as a colored person. You can't sit there and you gotta be smart about it.
Good,
They're gonna
okay.
say, "Oh, this is this and that," but we already know, and that's the part that kills me about a lot of black. It's like we sit there and we do it right then and there because we want to do it. That don't work sometimes. You go
Right.
to your house or whatever, chill. You know what I'm saying? Be somewhere you chilling, you smoke. You know what I mean? You doing your thing. Why you got to be all out in Jump Street, Front Street, all this crazy stuff? You don't got to be
Right.
like that. And I
Right.
think they put that's the part that bothers me when they just put it out there like they don't care. Oh, I'm just gonna do it the way I want to do it. All right. You're gonna do that
Right.
time the
Right.
way they want you to do that time too. You
Exactly.
know what I'm saying? I
Exactly.
just won't understand that.
That's
Yeah.
facts.
Because I can tell you right now,
I feel
let's
like,
keep it straight
you know,
hundred. If you keep hold on, Solo. Let's keep it straight hundred. See, this is the part that bothers me. They see all this, they're gonna marijuana this, they're gonna, legalize this, go into these white areas and see what you see. You ain't gonna see all this. You
Right.
ain't gonna see them hanging on the corners. You ain't gonna see nobody just not doing anything, just out on the street. You ain't gonna see that. That's the
Right.
part that bothers me.
Yeah.
That's why
Yeah.
people gotta wake up. Just like when something. Never mind. I could keep going on and on for this, but it kills me, man. It just does, man. People gotta wake up, man.
Yeah. I'm with you, man. What you about to say, Solo?
Solo, what you were saying? Can you hear us? Solo.
Yeah. You can probably gotta say it.
say it again.
Can you?
What
He
what you was
what
about
you
to
was about
say?
to say?
Oh, I agree with you. I agree with what you were saying too. I think I was about to say something like, you know, it's one of those things where it's just like, I think the drug business was a booming business to where now it's not going to be as booming. It's not going to be as booming for some people. Some people going to make money, but some people ain't going to make money like they think they is, because it's almost like when it was illegal, it made people want to go and just get it. You know what I mean? From a supplier that could, you know what I mean, like there was like hidden, you know what I'm saying?
Mm.
So now that everybody's coming out doing it, you know what I mean? It's almost like a person having a gold mine, you know what I mean? Then don't nobody know about it, to where now everybody got it, everybody doing it. So it's gonna be one of those things where it's like, to me, it's just, I look at it from so many different perspectives. It's like, you know what I mean? It's almost like cigarettes. And it's cigarettes is always going to be, that's an addiction.
You're exactly right, Solo. Not to cut
Go
you
ahead,
off,
what
because
you
you know
gonna
what they're going to do? You know what they starting to do? They just starting to lace it. That's it. They lacing it with other stuff to make it stronger. That's it. That's exactly what they doing. Because you're right. You're right.
To make it more addictive.
Exactly. That's exactly what they doing. Yeah, since everybody, guess what? Everybody's selling it. Everybody don't, guess what? So I need to do something to mine to make it more stronger, get more people addicted to come to me. And they just lacing it with other stuff. That's where the fentanyl and all that stuff coming from.
Exactly.
Because they just throwing a little bit of that stuff in there and just getting them.
Because that's a drug that you can't get a hold of. That's not a drug you can get a hold of like just easily. You know what I'm saying? So that's the gold mine drug now. The fentanyl, the Percocets. Those are the gold mine drugs that people want. People, you know what I mean? Now that people smoking weed, it ain't like a big thing no more. It's like, oh, dang, you know what I mean? You used to be able to make good money probably being a drug dealer, smoking weed and selling it. Now you can't do that. It's like, dang, you know, everybody, you got your grandmother selling it. I'm saying everybody got it.
I'll get this down, baby.
You know what I mean? So it's like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like,
look, me and my girl, we was talking about that the other day. Opioids, opioids is the way to go, man. Everybody want them opioids. Old people go far lengths to get them opioids.
Yeah,
painkillers.
Exactly. They'll break their leg just to go inside of a hospital just to get that. You know what I mean? They'll hurt themselves just to get it. You know what I'm saying? To where now, like it was a dude that pulled up to Walmart. I seen this little young dude pull up to Walmart in his car, and he was like an Uber driver. He was like, yeah, I just, I sell it out my car. I'm like, what? Like he said, yeah, I got it in these little plastic pouches. You know what I mean? Like it looked professional. It looked like an actual thing you would buy at Walmart or something, like at a store. It was packaged like that. So I'm just like, bro, like everybody is doing it to where now it's just like, it wasn't. Yeah,
you bought one, Larry. Just be honest. You bought one.
I feel like no, actually, I was talking to a employee outside. I mean, this is from a person, and this is the funny thing, from a person that's never drank or smoked. You know what I'm saying? But but you gotta understand though, even though I may not have done it, that's been around. I'm gonna tell you this: the reason why I've never did it is because I grew up around family members that were drug addicts or sold drugs heavily. And I never wanted that piece. You know what I'm saying? I never wanted to get caught up in that cycle. And I had an uncle, 2015, God rest his soul, laced up. I don't know if it was marijuana. I don't know what it was that they sold it to him, and it was laced up and he died overdosed. I have a couple cousins recently, that's our age, drug overdose. And they're young, 36, 37, 38, overdoses. So it's probably one of the reasons why I never got into it. You know what I mean? When you see your family members pass from it, when you see people dying from it. And then on top of that, you hearing stories growing up. You go to a party, like Jody was saying, somebody lace it up, you smoke it, you done. I mean, I had two cousins. I had an uncle and a cousin. One time laced up. It ain't been right. I got one uncle that's homeless right now. My dad's middle brother. He's homeless. He's homeless and he hasn't been right since. From going to a party, smoking something and drinking it, and they laced it. He ain't been right since. So I don't know, man. I feel like I feel like if you're going to do marijuana, it should be, to me, if you're going to do marijuana, it should be legalized to where you're getting it from a prescription. That's just me.
I mean, what it is.
It should be prescribed by your you know what I'm saying? I mean, just buying it from off the streets from anybody, I don't know. I don't know how to feel about that. It's still tough for me. You know what I'm saying? Seeing what we've seen in our neighborhood, because it's not the same. Our weed ain't the same as the.
You're saying be safe about it. If you're gonna do it, be safe about it.
Yeah, I mean, because it's like, you know what I mean, even though we legalizing it, it's like, think about it. I mean, we can't trust nobody. We can't trust nobody with, who we buying it from.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's the thing too. Is it's like, and that's what I was gonna say earlier too. Is just like knowing who you're getting it from, and and I think in some ways with them legalizing it, right, and there being some kind of governance over what it is that they're selling, right, and not necessarily being able to lace it. I guess um, you can't. I guess you should be able to trust it, right, a little bit more than what I'm saying. You just getting it from Tyrone on a on a corner or whatever, you know.
But
Um,
to ask a question, like, I mean, of course, I've never, went and got no marijuana from a marijuana dispensary or anything like that. But the question is, what are they asking for? Are they asking, like, when you go to purchase marijuana at a, marijuana store or whatever you get it from? Are they asking for what type of information they ask for? They just your name, or you just pay for it, or you just pay for it and just walk out? Or I mean, you get what I'm saying? Like, what
yeah,
is
I
the?
don't know because I ain't
I guess
never.
what I'm asking is, what is the actual process for even getting, you know what I mean, medical,
Yeah.
like medically, what I'm talking about? I mean, I know your doctor got to do a prescription, all that stuff. But what I'm saying is, what is so? I guess because I'm saying if we saying be safe, right? Be safe with
Hmm.
doing marijuana. Some people might feel
Mhm.
uncomfortable walking up to us. So you get what I'm saying? Going to a place and they're seeing their face, knowing maybe I got a prominent position somewhere or something. I don't want somebody to see me going into this marijuana. So you get what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
I guess they figure I'd rather just get it from
Yeah.
Tyrone from around the corner. That way I could be discreet. I ain't got to worry
Wow.
about nobody seeing me. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that's how.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
I feel
and I don't.
like go ahead, bros.
No, I was just gonna say I just don't understand the thought process behind it. You know what I'm saying? One, why it's taking so long for them to legalize, right? And then two, like comparing that to people who smoke cigarettes and tobacco product. You know what I'm saying? That's worse for your body than this is, right? But at the same time, like I do get it, right? Because it all circles back to health, right? And they
Mm.
making money on from off of you being unhealthy, right? People who smoke, a lot of people who smoke cigarettes and stuff like that, get lung cancer and stuff like that. You gotta go to the hospital, be medicated, go through all this other stuff that the
Hmm.
government also controls and gets, you know, kickback from, So
I think it goes back to the level of responsibility too. Think about it like that.
yeah.
Think about if you that's almost like you releasing, like you giving permission to do a drug where it could kill more people or it could do more problems. It could do more damage to society. You know what I mean? Versus help it. It's already bad enough that, we legalized alcohol. We legalized, smoking. The alcohol has
Hmm.
caused the most accidents. Driving. You know what I'm saying? Um, smoking has caused the most cancer. You know what I mean? People dying from cancer, situations like that. So it's almost like, dang, I'm giving you permission to kill yourself, or I'm giving you permission to do stuff that may not be, you know what I mean? Be the and that's almost the thing too. Like for me, like I give you a prime example. Like how we were growing up, you had some parents, some cultures, let's just put it like that. Some cultures
Hmm.
would allow your kids be like, well, you know what? I don't want them smoking outside, but they can smoke inside my house. And I would
I
rather them
know.
be
I
safe
could not understand that.
smoking
You're right.
and drinking in my
You're
house.
so right. I
I,
could
you know what I
never
mean? They're like,
understand.
I would rather them be in my house because it's safer. I'm like,
Right,
what you're doing is you're still allowing them to destroy their body, no matter
right.
what.
You're
Like you're
enabling it.
you're
Yeah,
just watching them to destroy it. Yeah.
yeah.
So I never could understand that. So it's almost like, you know what I mean? The one thing I can say is this. This is the one thing I will say. And this is just me from, watching. I mean, Jody being, he's a person that goes to the gym. So he probably sees this a lot. You know what I mean? When people, this is what people don't understand. When you start smoking and drinking and doing a whole bunch of that all the time, and then you say, okay, I'm gonna stop, your body's going to take a toll on that once you stop. You're not, it's like it does it like if you look at people's demeanors, if you look at people's like their continence, their body, everything, it just makes them look older. It makes them like, if you ever watch a person that has stopped from doing, like, they look better doing it than when they did when they stopped for some reason. I don't know. I can't like I can't describe it. It's like it makes their body like just go downhill. Like, I was talking to somebody recently that said, yeah, I just stopped smoking and drinking. I'm like, but do you see yourself? Like, how old are you? You look like you about 60 years old. You look like you're about 50, 60 years old the way you look. You look old as crap because of what it has done to their body. So I'm like, what are we doing? Are we giving passes to people, you know what I mean, to go ahead and just destroy their body? I mean, I don't know, man. I have my pros and cons about smoking and drinking and things of that nature. Like, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe because I don't do it. I don't know. So I'm going to be on the opposite fence.
Mhm. Well,
I hear
I
you.
would say I would say anything you do for a long period of time is going to cause some effects. It's
Right.
tough. I mean, we live in a
Exactly.
society where, I mean, everything can. I mean, you got additives and preservatives in your food. You got soda. You got, I mean, candy, chocolate, cookies. Don't
That's true.
everything that, I mean, it's kind of difficult. Even, you know what I tell people. Let me tell you. Yeah, I mean, I'm a workout freak, right? But I tell people all the time, man. Yeah, I love this view right here. I love this view. Anyway, I tell people all the
Yeah,
time,
please
man.
keep like that
Like,
because my background was looking kind of funny.
yeah, I like this right here. But I tell people all the
Oh
time,
god.
like when they talking about they look at it like, I mean, you still gonna die the same die. You still gonna die at the same age you're
Mhm.
gonna die. But you try quality of life you can. You try to live the best life that you can by the quality. Now, when it comes to your body is your temple, that means you want to keep your body going as much as long as possible. And the thing about it is, it's hard because say right now, everybody knew crack was bad, right? We knew drugs is bad. But you say, so why do people still try it, or why do people still do it like they can't get hooked? Everybody always say, "Oh no, not me. That'll never happen to me." But why did you try it? If you
Right.
feel like, don't you think
Mhm.
everybody said that? You get what I'm saying? Why would you even try go down that road? About to keep it real. I love Percocets. Love them to death. Paying a dime for them. I'm gonna tell you that's the problem. who don't love, who don't like anything that'll make them beam up and forget what's
Is my
going on
screen
in life?
frozen?
Of course. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is my screen frozen?
little shaky, but
God
anyway.
dang.
But at the same time, it's like, I mean, you just be smart, man. You just do.
Yeah. And to that, on top of that, like, a drug is a gateway to another drug, right? But like after you've seen others have seen what the drug does to somebody else, like why still take like after I see somebody smoke crack and they ain't got no teeth, like I don't want that. Like you know what I'm saying? Like it just don't make any sense.
You,
See that, Joe? Y'all buffering, yeah.
Solo just bailed out. Would you,
Yeah,
would you say?
his John was buffering, his
Solo just
screen was
bailed out.
frozen. Yeah, his screen was frozen. Did it? Jay,
What you was saying on the topic? I ain't. What you say on the?
can you hear me?
Cause something did. Yeah. What'd you say? Yeah. What'd you
Oh,
say?
okay. Yeah, no. I was saying just piggybacking off of what you were saying about people taking certain drugs, and I was just like, I don't get why or how people will see someone take a particular drug and see how negatively it affects them and still go take the same drug. You know what I'm saying?
I know,
Like
right?
I would say
I
I was
don't.
saying like
Mm-hmm.
if I see somebody smoke crack and then they don't got no teeth, right? I don't want I'm not smoking crack, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
so Yeah.
They sitting there smoking like a mo. You like, let me try that. You be like, look, you see how they look?
Ain't got no teeth.
Hell no. Hell
But yeah,
no, man.
let me go ahead
But
and switch to
anyway,
this next joint real quick.
all right.
Next topic we got is on the Uvalde School District. Drop this in here really quick. Screen. The Uvalde School District suspends the entire police department over the shooting fallout. Um, for those who don't know, and you've had to be like completely disconnected from your technology to not know what happened with this. But in short, the police department for Uvalde, Texas School District has been suspended for a period of time amid fallout from the response to the May 24th Robb Elementary shooting that left 19 students and 2 teachers dead, unfortunately. So they've recently decided to suspend this police department, and it's just I don't understand, why would one take this long. I personally think that they should be just fired, bro. Like what happened, um, what happened in this scenario with these children and the response time or the lack thereof, I should say, is just completely ridiculous, man. Like, Jay, I know you come from a correctional background, right?
Hmm.
I have background in armed security and things of that nature a few years back, and I just like if you are afraid to do your job, then don't sign up to do the job. You know what I'm saying? Like for
Hmm.
me, it's that simple, and it doesn't make any sense why it would have taken this police force as long as it did for them to act on top of everything else that happened, right? Um, you know, speaking of it from as a parent too, um, I don't. I mean, and I know a lot of people have commented, bro, but I'm like, look, it, I don't care how many police is outside, ain't nobody about to stop me from getting to mine. You hear me?
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Like it's just not happening. Especially if I know about it ahead of time. No, and that's a lot of ways that things like that happen during the scenario. And what happened kids were reaching out to their parents as the thing was going on. You know what I'm saying? And the parents were coming to the school, and it just don't make no sense, man. I mean, yeah, I-
It's tough. And I'm gonna be honest with you, it's a tough situation. Um, because for real, I mean, we don't really know. Like, yeah, you can investigate and you can, but for the most part, them kids' lives are gone.
yeah,
Um,
man.
even I mean, even I'm looking at it and I'm reading they put some guys on administrative leave. They still getting paid. All
Yeah,
they did was shift it around, shift some of them
Mm-hmm.
guys around. What they do is they try to uh, they try to let the public know that they did something. You know what I'm saying? Because I could tell you right now,
Exactly.
every district have procedures. Every we know enforcement. Every have happens. You set up a shelter in place. You set up your command center. You set up everything going to place. You got people who do this. You got people who got this. The problem that I feel like happened, in my opinion, is they failed to act quickly on who positions people was going to play. When something of that magnitude happened, everybody got to play a role because it can't be a bunch of chiefs running around. So everybody got to take on a certain role. The
hmm
thing that's worrisome is no one is almost like no one knew exactly what to do because that scenario
Mm-hmm.
happened before. Did that make sense? So
you
when
you think
something
you
like
think
that, it's
you think
almost
they
like
didn't
now all over
know?
again. I'm not saying it's all to that magnitude, but Huh?
No, I was saying you think that they didn't
You
know,
broke up. What'd you
or is
say?
it like I was saying you think that they didn't know, or is just like to
No, no,
me, I
they
just feel like
knew. No, no,
they
no,
were
no.
just
That's
scared.
the problem. They knew. No, they knew, but it's a bunch of yes. Scared played a part in it too. Yes, they knew. It's almost the same thing as if a riot should happen, and now we like, okay, what do we do
Mhm.
now? What who going? What the procedures do we follow? Who this? Who that? And
Right.
that's the problem with law enforcement across the board. They hire these people who are green, don't know nothing about nothing. You have to train. That's when people was talking about defund police departments. Remember all that when
Yeah.
Minnesota with what's my man with the neck putting a knee on his neck. They talking about defund police departments and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Negative, because stuff like this. If you defund police, guess what? That means training will go out the window. That means stuff like this will continue to happen, where people don't know what the officers don't know what to do when the shit hit the fan. Excuse my friends, but that's what it was. That's exactly
Mhm.
what it is. They wouldn't know what to do. And that's why you have to continue training. Training is a must. You have to continue. I'm talking about scenario after scenario after scenario. It has to be continuous training. That's what I always preached when I was it has to be, I'm talking about real life, real speed type stuff. And the
Yeah.
problem is them dudes ain't know what to do. They was scared, yes, they were part of it, and then they ain't know they wanted to follow the procedures because they know all eyes are on them. When you know the camera is watching, trust me, people don't want to make that
Mhm.
harsh decision. Did that make sense? We all know that. When that
Right.
camera turns on, people are like, oh man, I ain't making the decision. You make a decision. You know what I mean? Because they don't want to be in
Right.
the limelight. I don't want to be the one to have
Yeah,
to be held accountable for this. And that's exactly how it be. But
Yeah.
I'm with you, bros. Like
I think.
when stuff like that happened, I think I would have just went in there. I'm sorry, guns blazing. You have to. You can't let them. And then another thing I feel it's just so unfortunate, man. That situation. Can I? And I'm so being honest. And I know some people almost like the young man had his intentions was to shoot regardless, right?
Oh yeah.
So
Mhm.
basically, the situation where I feel like they couldn't win regardless.
Right.
It was almost
Mhm.
like I remember they was talking about one of the teachers trying to shield the kids. I mean, that the young man went in there guns blazing. It wasn't nothing. I feel like that's why when they talking about again taking out resource officers out of these schools, have y'all lost y'all These kids are just getting these weapons, and yeah, there should be two resource officers in these schools. I don't care what you say. Yes, have y'all went? And this is the problem. The same people that's talking about far as resource teachers, same ones that live in live in the privileged communities. Same ones don't know the city where we got to walk through metal detectors and everything. Yes, it's this serious. These kids are serious.
Right.
That's
And if we
it.
can't above
Because I can go
everything,
on and
man,
on.
like we should be protecting the future generation, right? And it's just like the lives of humans and our children in a lot of people's eyes are not as
Hmm.
important. You know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't make any sense like in this situation where let me read this part too, because this is critical. It said the shooting sparked intense outrage and investigation after it was revealed that 1 hour and 14 minutes and 8 seconds passed from the time law enforcement entered the building until the gunman was killed. That's a long time, bro, for one person. And you got a whole gang of police officers out there to take down one man, man. It's just ridiculous. You got all this gear, you got the metal plate that you walk down the hall with. I mean, all this stuff that you're supposed to go through training, tactical training, and dealing with the situations. You know what I'm saying? It's just it don't make no sense, man.
I,
None
I
whatsoever.
I think the major part, even though, like
I
I
was gonna
said, that
say.
go ahead, Solo.
A little delayed on his side.
I was gonna say that what happens is people are not in real life situations. You know what I'm saying? Like, so they're not used to those situations. They're not used to, like, I ain't gonna lie to you. I think like the inner city police officers and the street police officers are built differently from certain police officers because they see it from time to time. They know how to talk to people. They know how to de-escalate a situation. They know how to, you know what I mean, handle pressure because a lot of the police officers in the inner city grew up around violence. You know what I'm saying? Especially African American police officers. You know what I'm saying? So these type of situations that happen, they're so used to just patrolling and, you know, breaking up little fights here and there, or, you know, the little stupid stuff that when something really go down, they panic. You know what I mean? They're not built like they say they are. You know what I'm saying? Like Jody can attest for this. You know what I'm saying? Working in the penitentiary. You know what I mean? When you work in a penitentiary, you're built differently because you see things on a regular basis. You deal with it differently. When you come in, the funny thing is you can come in green, right? You can come in green and then it'd be like shocking, but let you get 2, 3, 4 years in, 5 years in, you are a vet with it because it's nothing. I honestly believe the people that's working in the law enforcement in the prison will be more tougher to work in the actual environment of a actual, you know, outside the four walls because they see much more. You know, they just built different. It's almost like going through a gauntlet, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like imagine you being a traffic officer, or you somebody that just stopped buses, you know what I'm saying? Or you somebody that a patrol officer, and then they just call you to a thing where it's unnatural for you. Like, oh, I got to go in here and stop this. I mean, you know what I mean? You risking your life of you're worried about dying or getting shot or killed versus if you worked in a prison system, that happens every day. That's an everyday thing. You know what I'm saying? Where you got to watch your back 24/7.
Yeah, man. And then the other thing
Jody
that
left.
I think, there you go. Bring it back in. Hold on. Yeah, but the other thing too, I think is just that to piggyback on what you're saying there and what Jody was saying earlier was in terms of what you have to do, the training that you have to go through, right? I don't think enough emphasis is placed on. I don't think enough emphasis is placed on looking into an individual's background, right? Like their social, you know what I'm saying? Like what it is that they stand for, right? Because like you know, now everybody got social media pages, right? So you know, really finding out about that person, not just, oh, did they have a prior drug charge? Did they have a prior, you know, assault and battery charge or something like that? Like really digging into uh, who a person is, and you bringing that particular individual onto your police force because, like, for instance, you know, and it's never going to be like there's never going to be a fail proof plan to bring in somebody because just as like you were saying solo that you could some of the people in the prisons would be better equipped to handle situations on the outside. You also have the issue of corruption, right? Where and we hear that all the time in prisons, right? Where you know certain guards are in with certain inmates and stuff like that, and they allow certain things to happen, turn a blind eye, and you know all that kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? So it's I just feel like I said,
That's because
it's never going to be a fail-proof plan.
they are they're afraid for their life too. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's because they're afraid for their life too as well. You know what I'm saying? Like it's almost like it's like a, you know what I mean? And the funny thing is Jody probably could be the one to tell you the opposite. You know what I'm saying? Imagine you being locked up, right? And then you see somebody like Jody, where Jody is not your average security. I mean, your average CO in there. You know what I mean? He's a person where he can relate to you. He can understand you. He can talk to you. He can de-escalate a situation before it gets crazy. You see what I'm saying? Because there's some people in there that automatically like you got this look on you, like
Solo,
you know what I mean, like
solo,
oh you soft,
solo,
you weak.
solo,
Yeah. Go ahead.
Solo. Pause for a second. You are 1,000% right. You are 1,000% right. The thing about it is, when you already been down that road and you know what to look for and you know what you're looking at, exactly, you exactly right. They get these guys that don't know what they doing. They ain't never seen the hood before, don't know nothing about nothing, ain't green, and then they look for the ones that got squeaky clean records. You cannot put them on the street with stone cold dudes and think they supposed to respond. They not going to. It's foreign to them. They never seen it before. So you get somebody like me who come in there and yeah, I've seen all this before. Guess what? I'm not affected at all. You could say what you want, you could do what you want. Trust me, I'm still gonna fold you up like when you on the street because I already seen this, been and seen this before. So you exactly right, Solo. You exactly right. Because I've seen it. You're right. They
I feel
coming
like
in,
I
they
feel like
scared as
they.
I don't know what.
I was gonna say I feel like some of the so I feel like they don't realize it's like it. Put it like this. Just imagine you growing up in the hood, right? You growing up, you basically grow up in the hood, and then you decide to be a correctional officer. Now you in there with people that you grew up with. That's your mindset. You just in there with a group of people that's just like you in a sense because you grew up around them. Where you got some people like he said that are green that ain't never been around it. So and it's funny because I was watching this joint on YouTube. It was a gangland joint. And the white, I hate to say it like this, but the Caucasian guy, he came in and he had his flashlight and he was like, "What are y'all doing? Break it up, break it up." And they wasn't trying to listen to him, right? And then you could tell by the officer, the African American officer, was looking at the dude like he going about this all wrong. You know what I mean? Like at his own partner. Like he gave him this look like, "Yo, pipe that down because you about to have a riot out here." You know what I'm saying? And you could already tell that he could already tell the way he looked, he felt like he was on the opposite end because this is his people. But he still got to do his job. So he came in a way where he was just like, "Hey guys, what's going on?" He starts talking to them, right? He was like, "What's going on? Where y'all supposed to be at? What you drinking?" He was cool about it. You know what I mean? He had a different approach where the other dude was being aggressive, where he could have started issues. But it seemed like the African American dude, he knew how to like approach the whole thing. Like, bro, he gave him this look like, "Bro, like, what are you doing? Like, calm that down." You know what I mean? But he came to the people like, "Hey, y'all know y'all ain't supposed to be out here, man. You know what I mean? Just make sure y'all calm it down. Break." He was cool about it, and I could tell like he knew how to de-escalate the situation before it got worse because what I mean. This he grew up. He went to school out there. You could tell he grew up in that type of environment. You could tell. It's just I don't know, man. Like it's one of those things where when you look at police, you already get a bad rep. You already get a bad rep. You know what I'm saying? They get a bad rep. The funny thing about it is when you were a kid, you always want to hear about it as a job wise, like it'll be a good job, this and that. But as you get older, you start to realize police officers get a bad rep, especially African American police officers, especially us, because they automatically feel like we against them, and you know what I mean? We the ops or we the burgers, whatever. But I feel like we can do a lot of change if we know how to handle our situations, even in the prison cells. I feel like a lot of COs, a lot of officers that handle themselves well can make a lot of change in and out of the prison if they walk a certain way, if they respect a certain type of way, because there is a language barrier. And if you understand that language barrier, you can overcome that. You can break a lot of things. You can break a lot of chains, a lot of cycles, and you can gain respect. But I feel like when you're not given that respect, you know what I mean? You coming in green and you want to, you want to show people that you're an officer and you want to make yourself look a certain type of way. It's almost like, okay, look, you need to pipe that down. You need to come correct, because at the end of the day, your job is to de-escalate the situation, not rise it up to make it worse. And I feel like that's what's happened. I feel like people are green. They come in these situations, they don't know how to handle the shooting. You know what I mean? Somebody shooting up a place where the average kid in the city is used to hearing a gunshot or used to hearing somebody get killed. Right. You know what I mean? Where some officers ain't used to that. They ain't used to that type of environment. So they freeze, they tense up. And this is why you got this situation of everybody suspended. Everybody suspended because
yeah, but everybody suspended. That's not, to me, that's just pleasing the public.
Yeah,
I mean, you can't. I mean, when you say, like one of the guys, they on administrative leave. I mean, they still getting paid. Oh, that's a vacation to me. I mean, yeah, it goes on your record, but at the same time, I mean, but what can you really do? Okay, but I get it that
they probably still get another job too. They probably can get another
I
job
mean,
after
what
that,
can we
another
do?
police
I
job.
mean, we talking about, what they say, 400 officers came up on that scene. I mean, you can't get rid of 400. I mean, we got to have somebody. And so at the same time, I think it's just most pleasing the public and just putting the public on notice that you're still going to be held accountable. I'm not saying it got to be harsh where everybody got to be fired, but it's showing the public that there's still something being done regardless of what, because you can't let this happen again. Now, I will be honest. I go as far as saying I don't want to hear that for real. Honestly, I don't want to hear that they got suspended, because what is that doing? That ain't doing anything. Let me hear what type of training you're going to put in place to prevent this from happening again. Are you
So
going to
that's gonna
place
happen again.
resource officers? Exactly. Are you going to place resource officers, or what are you doing so this wouldn't happen again? Because if you say, okay, them officers suspended, they're coming back. They're going to come back, right? So what are we
Right.
saying here? What are we doing? What are we doing to prevent this from happening again or
And like
happening
you said,
anywhere
probably
else?
suspended with pay.
Yeah, and they suspended with pay. I mean,
My thing is,
what are we doing?
isn't there ranks? Isn't there ranks in my thing?
But see, that's the thing.
My thing isn't there ranks in the police force where there's
Yes,
certain people trained
but
to do
and see
certain stuff. You know what I'm saying?
that's where the problem lies for me, is because when a situation like that does happen, ranks got to step up to give the procedures. So if you're going to suspend or anybody
Exactly.
should be held accountable, it should be whoever the ranking higher rank. And we've seen it. Police chief get fired because this happened, and this police, captain got fired because of this. Because they are the higher rankings. They're supposed to pass down the information for as far as the procedures for everybody else to act on. So that's why you could say if we standing around, that's because we waiting to get the procedures. We can't just, as a team, like, okay, bros, you said you would just run in there, but as a team, we can't just run in there. I feel you. You know
No,
what I
I
mean?
mean as
We
a
got to get
parent.
as a parent, but we have to get instructions before we run in there. I want to run in there all the time, but I can't just go, because guess what? I got to wait on the instructions before me go.
Right.
So if anybody should be held accountable, whoever was the incident commander, because they trust me, it was a command center set up. So whoever was the command in chief of the command center should be held accountable. Period.
I mean, all of them should be
Exactly.
held
If you think
accountable,
about it,
bro. Like,
yeah,
if you look at
how
the
many?
video,
If you think about it though, if you think about how many people went in there, right? All the police, right? Everybody ain't trained to go into combat. You got some people coming in there that probably were like patrol officers or people that watched over,
And that's what
watched over the
You're
streets
right.
or cross
Mhm.
guards. You
That's
see
what
I'm saying?
happened.
So
You're right.
everybody ain't trained to do that type of work. That's like if you work in the prison, they got some people assigned for people that go crazy. They have a units that go crazy for certain things, and you sign up for that. That ain't something you get picked for. You don't be like, okay,
You're right.
you chosen, run up in there. No, they go to proper training, and they got people that's suited and booted to break these doors and to go for this type of person, because they know that certain individuals in jail is going to put you in the hospital, and it has been known. It has been known for certain individuals in prison to put certain people in the freaking hospital. You know what I'm saying? From these type of things. So I feel like when it came to that situation, you're not sitting in the right units. You know what I mean? You sitting in everybody, let's go. Like, come on, hold it. Like, you know what I mean? Everybody ain't built for that type of situation. And 400 people, where's the person that talks down that person? Where's the person that's like, that goes in and like de-escalates the situation before all that happens? You know what I'm saying? We want to just bring everybody in and make it higher. You know what I'm saying? Look worse.
But see, they didn't know what it was. And see,
Negotiate.
the information wasn't, because they didn't know what was going on. They didn't know whether it was hostage situation, whether it was an active. They didn't really have all the details. But at the same time, I feel where bro's coming from. Like when it got to involve kids, I mean, it's a very unfortunate situation, because like I said, I think young man had his mind made up to go in there guns blazing regardless. But I think the main thing for me, is so this won't be prevented again. Do put some measures in place so this could be preventable for anywhere else. This wouldn't happen again. That means resource officers in the buildings.
but not just that, man, but also like leaning on. And, I was talking to wifey about this recently, because there was a scare in Manassas. Did you see that, Jerome? So there was a potential shooting scare in Manassas, and
what happened?
the day of, they sent out the information. You know, I told wifey to just keep little man home, and then I think the day after, or maybe it was later that day, but I believe it's the day after, they came back and said that they looked at all the information and it wasn't a credible threat. But initially, and I had to pull up the email. Let me see if I can find- I had to pull up the email. Uh,
Where was this? Where was this taking it? Like, where did this happen?
well, I don't know. It was at one of the schools in Manassas. They didn't release that information. You know what I'm saying? Um, I'm trying to get back to the email to see exactly what they said because I don't want to misquote. But essentially, well, I guess essentially what I'm trying to get at is there are additional things that can be done. Uh, you know, aside from, you know, like especially not just taking these patrolmen out of the schools and things like that. I mean, like uh, all the schools have a security system, right? A lot of schools do. Some schools don't, right? But putting a security system inside of schools where there are none, right? Having that security system, you know, tap in to be able to be tapped into from local law enforcement, right? So that way in their command center, they can see what's going on as it's happening, right? Nobody's getting, you know, and then the command center is reporting this information down to to whoever it needs to get it that's actually out there, right? Um, Same thing with
Mhm.
one of the issues that I have with schools right now is like they most schools they don't have there's no cellular service in schools, right? So some of these schools, like
Mhm.
my son, he got a little smartwatch, right? We keep tabs on him, you know. But it's like if something was to happen and he, you know, wanted to call us and let us know because, you know, maybe they couldn't or the school couldn't, right? Things is going on, he wouldn't be able to, right? So why not? And then there's ways that a school can lock down internet usage, right? It's simple. I do it in my house, right? I hit one
Mhm.
button, my son can't do nothing on the internet. You know what I'm saying? So uh I just think that
Mhm.
there's more things that are within the control of the school systems that can be done that haven't been done yet. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna try to
I
find that
think.
email
I
too.
think also when it comes to that piece, I think when it comes to that piece, when school starts, right, they need to be having classes on teaching kids on how to be aware of their surroundings when it comes to that type of stuff. When it comes
Mm-hmm.
to, you know what I mean, knowing bomb threats or situations like that. I don't think they teach enough of that in the beginning. Like, hey, look, before we start, you know, our class, or you know what I mean, we're gonna go and show you some things just like they would do like in training. Like they teach if you ever worked in security or law enforcement, that's the things that they teach you. They teach you, you know, bomb threats. They teach you hazard things. They need to be doing the same thing with some of these kids in these schools, like letting them say, hey, look, if you see certain things that's out of the place, you need to teach the kids that so they can be prepared for this. I don't feel like we prepare enough for our kids. Like I don't even think they doing fire drills anymore in certain schools. You know what I'm saying? Certain things.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it's like if they're lenient on fire drills and hurricane things, then I know for a fact they're not teaching that in school, which they need to be doing it. You know, it was crazy because the other day I went to a football game Friday night, right? And when I went to the football game, they had like three people, you know, waving wands. They were waving people down to check them to make sure that they can go in, and
Mhm.
you know, and no weapons were being brought in. But they only had 3 officers, and I hate to say this, I ain't trying to be racist and nothing like that, but the neighborhood's predominantly black. Ain't 3 people stopping teenagers. I mean, and understand some of these kids are bigger than us now. They ain't not little kids. These ain't no small children in here. You got kids weighing 200 something pounds. You know, and if a fight did actually break out and they had to stop it, but it's a lot of us in there. And I had to go to the game because I didn't feel, for some odd reason, nowadays I just don't feel safe with my kids going to a game by themselves. I don't know why. Like back in the day, we can go. Well, that's because we were probably playing too, though. So that my parents didn't have to worry about coming to a game, making sure I was fine because I was playing. But if your kids are going to just go watch a game, you start to be like, hold up, you know what I mean? They going to a game. Let me make sure they good. Let me make sure they come home safely because people shooting at the games, people fighting at the games. And if you know your kids, are very popular, or if you know your kids are in certain groups, you want to watch that. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't think we're aware of what our kids surround us. I don't think we're aware of who our kids hang with. You know what I'm saying? Like some kids, you know what I mean, can be like, I give you like, y'all already know when it comes to being in school, being popular and being unpopular. If you're unpopular, okay, you ain't gonna have no problems. But if you that kid that's popular, 9 times out of 10, that problem is going to find you, or you're going to be in the midst of, or you're going to hear about it, or you're going to be in it, you're going to be involved, you're going to be around it, some type of it. So that's where it gets nervousing. You know what I'm saying? If you have a kid where you're like, I ain't worried about, maybe one of them kids that may be involved in that type of situation. So I had to make sure that, you know what I mean? And I'm glad I did go, because a fight did break out. A fight broke out heavily. And the first thing we're looking at, where's our kids at? Where's our kids? Let's go rally them up, because it's getting crazy, and they the people there at the game, and it's a homecoming game. So, I mean, y'all already know what's going on out here when it comes to these football games and the shootings and the fightings at the games and stuff. It's getting
so
crazy.
Unfortunate.
So
What is going? It's getting crazy.
You gotta,
with that,
you know,
man.
you don't feel protected. I ain't even feel protected.
That's good. You say you ain't feel protected. It's getting crazy about that, man.
I didn't feel protected. I was like, yo, I didn't. I mean, you got 3 cops in there. They're walking. They're patrolling. They patrolling the joint. I think about that. You in a whole football field, right?
Right.
And it's a high school game. 3 cops. What you gonna do with 400 people? What you gonna do? What you gonna do if 10 to 20 kids break out and jump 2 kids? You gonna call back up? They're gonna get there. They gotta come through. It can get crazy. It can get terrible. And then on top of that, it can cause a panic.
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, y'all, we grew up going to clubs. Have y'all ever been in it where a club panicked and they threw a pepper bomb in the joint?
Oh yeah.
Y'all see how panic it gets, how crazy it gets.
It makes it worse.
Stop that type of stuff.
Yeah, it makes it worse.
Yeah, but I mean,
bros,
that's why.
Bros, I seen a pregnant woman in DC, bro, get trampled.
And that's what I'm saying, man. Like, and I'll say this thing, we can wrap it up, but it's better to be safe than sorry, and it's better to be proactive versus reactive, right? And like on the proactive versus reactive tip, like I saw that a lot in when I was dealing with security, whether it's unarmed or armed security. It's the opposite. In a lot of situations, at least the ones that I've been in, where some of the measures in place were not they were reactive measures versus being proactive. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's something that needs to be fixed. Same thing just with just taking it a step further so that you can be safe versus sorry later. Like, we understand that, like, we're not in England, right? Over here in the US, there we got guns. Everybody has access to get guns and weapons and stuff, right? So put the things in place, put the metal detectors and things in place. You know what I'm saying? If it's going to take a little bit extra time for you to get into a venue or whatever, so be it. You know what I'm saying? But at least you know what I'm saying, everyone in there has some sense of security to know that, hey, I was checked, the person behind me was checked, and everybody else that was coming in here, and everybody can go in there and have a good time. You know what I'm saying? Of course, you're gonna have some people. Another fight still might break out depending on the type of venue you at, drinking or whatever. But at that point, all you got to do is worry about fists, fists and feet.
Yeah, you're right.
You know what I'm saying?
You're right.
Nobody gonna get killed off of fists and feet. But yeah, man. So, yeah.
Depends. Depends on who's fighting it. But yeah, you're right.
Well, yeah. But yeah, man. So, that's it we got for today, y'all, for this podcast head live episode. We got in a little bit late. Yes, sir.
Oh yeah. Good one. Good podcast, fellas.
but we're gonna be on time next time.
Thursday.
Make
Thursday.
sure
We're
this-
going
yeah.
Thursday.
Yes, sir.
Thursday, 7 o'clock. Be there.
Yes, sir.
All right, fellas.
All right, yo, we out.